This is KVUE News Daybreak.
A heated debate expected at the state capitol today as the controversial Sanctuary Cities bill takes center stage. We'll break down what happens if the bill is passed. A local school announcing a meeting for parents after an outcry of what they call a mishandled sexual assault case. When that meeting will take place. And no surprise here, another high rise planned for the city of Austin. But it's the location that might come as a bit of a surprise to some. Good Wednesday morning to you, and thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak at 4:30. I'm Brian Mays. Let's begin with a look at what we're tracking for this Wednesday with meteorologist Erica Lopez.
Hey there, Brian. Good morning. We're tracking a cold front that's making its way through northern Texas as of now. It will impact us this morning here in Austin. It's a rather dry front, so what we're seeing with it are a lot of muggy conditions in front of it. Dew points are in the 70s, temperatures in the 70s, so we have some spotty sprinkles actually in your forecast this morning. Until that front passes, that's going to push out all these high dew points out of our forecast, but it's going to be a sticky morning. Again, spotty showers is something you can run into. Also, a mostly cloudy start to our day, but we'll expect those clouds to decrease as the cold front pushes through. Notice a change of winds from this morning to this afternoon, a northwest wind as that front passes. That's going to push out cloud coverage and allow us to have a lot of sunshine, but still a warm afternoon is in store. Brian, back to you.
Erica, thank you. Happening today, the Texas House set to vote on the Sanctuary Cities bill, or Senate Bill 4. The bill will require all Texas law enforcement agencies to honor ICE detainers, which are voluntary requests to hold someone while their immigration status is investigated. It's expected to pass on party lines. And Austin's mayor, Steve Adler, met with Attorney General Jeff Sessions in Washington, D.C. yesterday to discuss federal policies, including Travis County's Sanctuary City policy. This comes after Sessions announced last month that local governments would lose federal dollars if they continue their Sanctuary City status. Adler said Sessions told him sanctuary cities are based on a federal statute that says a government entity may not prohibit communication between immigration officials.
The question that I asked the Attorney General was, would a county that was not honoring voluntary detainers be a county that would be sanctioned on that regard? And he told me no.
Now, in a statement released following the mayor's comments, the Department of Justice wrote, quote, the Attorney General did not comment or provide a legal opinion as to whether Austin or any other jurisdiction is or is not in compliance. Now, officials at the mayor's office tell KVUE Mayor Adler stands by his previous comment. Just a few days left until President Donald Trump marks his first 100 days in office, and the pressure is on to deliver. President Trump set to unveil the blueprint for his tax reform plan today. Also on the agenda, a briefing at the White House on issues rising in North Korea. But the list doesn't end there. ABC's Stephanie Ramos explains how our country's leader is tackling these topics, along with the fallout over a former National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn.
Today's the day President Trump releases his hyped-up tax reform plan. His team calling it a first draft with some key parts still in the works as they barrel through to Trump's 100th day in office. The proposal is expected to call for cutting taxes for corporations and companies like his and small businesses from 35% to 15%, a tax break for child care expenses, and cutting individual tax rates. Also happening today, all 100 U.S. senators will be briefed on the situation in North Korea on White House grounds.
The Secretary of State and others are going to talk about our posture and the activities that we're undergoing, and Chairman Dunford will lay out some of the military actions.
This comes just a day after North Korea fires off its largest artillery drill, just as a U.S. guided missile submarine arrived in South Korea, intensifying the standoff over the North's nuclear weapons program.
A North Korean missile with a nuclear payload capable of striking an American city is no longer a distant hypothetical, but an imminent danger.
The Trump administration also dealing with the fallout over former National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn's business dealings with Russia. The top Republican and Democrat on the House Oversight Committee saying Flynn did not make it known he received money from Russia and likely broke the law.
As a former military officer, you simply cannot take money from Russia, Turkey, or anybody else. And it appears as if he did take that money.
We heard from General Flynn during the presidential campaign last year where he talked about breaking the law when it came to Hillary Clinton. But now, if he did indeed break the law, he could face up to 5 years in prison. In Washington, Stephanie Ramos, ABC News.
President Donald Trump insists he's not backing down from his #1 campaign promise to build the wall, but it's not going to get built right away.
Who's going to pay for the wall?
Mexico does not agree with that, and the president is now backing down on his demand that Congress start paying for the wall. Now, it's part of his effort to cut a deal with Democrats to avert a government shutdown.
Really good news that the president seems to be taking the wall off the table in the negotiations we're having.
So the president is not insisting that he has money for actual construction of the wall.
Look, I'm not going to get there. We're still in discussions with the House and Senate leadership, but I think the president's been very clear that he wants a wall. He wants it done as soon as we can do it.
White House negotiators say they're now willing to accept they won't get any money to pay for the wall until October at the earliest. Money for President Trump's border wall could come from the Mexican drug lord known as El Chapo. Texas Senator Ted Cruz introduced a bill called the Ensuring Lawful Collection of Hidden Assets to Provide Order Act, or El Chapo Act for short. It would be used to recover more than $14 billion in drug money from El Chapo as he faces prosecution here in the United States. Now, Cruz says the money would go a long way toward building that wall, which is estimated to cost somewhere around $21 billion. Back here at home, Austin school officials will hold a meeting to discuss the alleged assault of a 4-year-old girl that apparently happened at a South Austin elementary school. The parents of the girl say she was sexually assaulted on February the 7th at Boone Elementary. And tomorrow, Austin school officials will meet with any parent who has questions about the incident. It's happening in the school's cafeteria from 6 to 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. The 4-year-old's medical records show there was trauma and the child suffered injuries related to sexual assault, but school police closed the investigation without pulling those medical records. Now, the case has been reopened, and the Travis County prosecutors are also investigating. Starting today, Austin Independent School District officials will hold public meetings on the 2017-2018 district budget. Families are welcome to attend today's meeting at the district's Performing Arts Center. That's from 1 to 2 this afternoon. If you can't make that one, there are 2 more meetings tomorrow at the Baker Center Cafeteria and the Caruth Administration Center. The first one's from 1 to 2. Second one will be from 6:30 to 7 tomorrow evening. 3 Austin schools have gotten approval to become early college high schools beginning next year. The Texas Education Agency approved Crockett, Eastside Memorial, and Lanier for the program, allowing students to earn up to 60 hours of college credit by the time they graduate high school. AISD now has 6 early college high schools. The man behind Monday's SWAT standoff in East Austin we told you about on Daybreak yesterday, facing charges today. Authorities say this man, 27-year-old Arturo Sada, started a fire at a home on Willow Street near Cesar Chavez on Monday night. Police say Sada pointed a gun at a firefighter when they asked him to leave the home. He then barricaded himself in a room. He surrendered after almost 3 hours. 3-hour-long standoff. 2 other people were inside the house. Luckily, no one was hurt. Sada could spend up to 99 years in prison if he's found guilty. The investigation continued this morning into a crash in North Austin that left 1 person dead. Happened just before 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Parts of Mopac and 183, the interchange there in North Austin, shut down for hours after a motorcycle rider went off the flyover, falling about 100 feet to the ground below. Investigators do not believe alcohol or speed was a factor. Paramedics say the motorcyclist was a female in her 20s. Officials say she was wearing a helmet. Her name has not yet been released. Austin continuing to get bigger and bigger, and that means more buildings are on the way, and another high-rise could be coming to the city, but its location has some eyebrows being raised around town. The 30-story high-rise full of residential, office, and retail space could be added to Austin's skyline, but it'll just be steps away from the Austin Resource Center for the Homeless, or ARCH. The National Episcopal Church bought the property that sits between 7th and 8th Streets a few years ago. With plans to build a National Archives facility, the nearly 70,000 square foot facility would be part of the high-rise. Reverend Canon Lang Lowry, who spoke to us by phone yesterday, says he's hoping the project will be a destination spot. He also says Austin Mayor Steve Adler has come up with a good plan to address homelessness.
Really wanted a concept to go around with our archives that would not only make a living archives for us, but make a spot where people would want to come to.
The idea of a hotel could be in the works as well. However, financial details, according to Lowry, should be released in about 3 months. The project will require approval from city leaders. If approved, construction could begin next year. Let's get another check of our forecast now. Erica Lopez joins us now. A bit different out there this morning, Erica.
Yeah, that's right. It's extremely sticky out there. First half of the day, continue to battle those humid conditions. The second half of the day, we do have a dry, cool front pushing through our viewing area. That's going to push out the humidity and the clouds also. This morning, we're waking up to dew points close to 70 degrees. Typically, anything over 60, it's considered muggy. So it is extremely muggy out there. Temperature is in the mid-70s. A south wind continues to just act as a conveyor belt of extremely humid conditions from the Gulf of Mexico. We do have some strong winds out there, gusts of up to almost 30 miles an hour. Keep in mind it's quite windy out there also, right ahead of this cold front. Here's where exactly the cold front is right now, about to pass through Dallas, San Angelo. Through this morning, should enter our viewing area by about 6, 7 a.m. or so. That's going to continue to start changing our conditions. As far as what you can expect hour by hour for our Wednesday, decreasing cloud coverage, I say by lunchtime. After lunchtime, we should be in the clear with plenty of sunshine, also some drier conditions, and temperatures will still be well above average. We'll be monitoring the heat this afternoon also, but I am tracking a good amount of storms in the forecast. I'll chat about that in the full forecast. Brian, back to you.
Erica, thanks. It looks like former President George H.W. Bush will be in the hospital a bit longer than expected. Doctors say he beat pneumonia, but continues to battle chronic bronchitis. President Bush has been at Houston Methodist Hospital since April 14th. Officials working with the 92-year-old say the former president could be home by the end of the week. A Texas teacher out of a job after he performed a rap song at school for his students. The controversy surrounding the issue and why the school says they let him go. And another controversial police encounter, all caught on camera, why officers pulled their weapons on a group of teens and why the police chief is sticking by the officers. Straight ahead.